Oh, hello there. My name is KUNAAHL KAMALAHASAN and I'm turning 17 years old this year. This book over here is the #1 personal finance book of all time. Before I talk about this book, let me tell you a quick brief about myself. I am someone who loves constructions and buildings, and that's the reason I'm taking civil engineering in Technical Institute of Johor BAHRU. I am also an active member of my school's Scout, Robotics Club, and also the sportsman of my school. Without further ado, let me tell you about this precious book. This book is called Rich Dad and Poor Dad. Have you guys ever heard of this book? If no, let me explain. This book has a total of 3 editions. The first one was on 1997, the second was on 2011, and the latest edition, which I am holding over here, is on 2017. This book is published by Plata Publication and has approximately about 352 pages. Now, let me tell you about the author. Yes, you are right. This guy over here is the author. His name is Robert T. Kiyosaki. Robert is a successful entrepreneur, investor, and also an author. Now, let me tell you the story that this book brings us. This book is a full journey of Robert Kiyosaki from an ordinary person to become someone that gained a huge wealth. So, it all started when Robert was just 11 years old. Robert had 2 fathers. It's quite weird, isn't it? But let me explain. The first one was called Poor Dad, the second was called Rich Dad. Poor Dad is Robert's own father, who is highly educated, has a PhD as well. But the problem is that he is stuck on debt. But on the other hand, we have Rich Dad. Rich Dad is a college dropout, but he is running a 7-figure income generating business. How is that possible? And that's the thing that went on Robert's mind when he was just 11 years old. From the day onwards, he went to meet Rich Dad. He got an opportunity. He used it wisely. He learned all the fundamental aspects that is needed in order to become a successful entrepreneur. When Robert was just 30 to 40 years old, he was the most influential guy in his industry. Now, let me tell you some of the lessons that I have learned from this book. The first lesson is that Rich Dad said a quote that really caught my attention. The quote is that there is a difference of being rich and being wealthy. Let me explain. For an example, if someone won a lottery today, he won a huge amount of money and he spent all of his money the next day. That means he was rich. But wealthy, on the other hand, has its own definition. Wealthy is how long could you live if you stopped working today? And this sentence really caught my attention. The second thing that Rich Dad said is that people nowadays are not working to gain knowledge. Let me give you an example. If someone wakes up around 6 a.m. in the morning, he goes to his office, he comes about late evening to home, he goes to bed, and the next day this loop is being repeated again and again and again until the 30th day of the month, until they get a paycheck. But this is not something that's supposed to be repeated. Instead, people nowadays should work just to gain knowledge, because learning is a process which does not only stop after we graduate from our school or even from our university, but learning is an eternal process. We have to consistently gain knowledge. That is what Robert's Rich Dad said. The other thing he said is that being poor is eternal, but being broke is temporary. Moreover, he also said that in order to become successful, we need to have a huge and strong mindset. Let me give you an example. Poor Dad will always say things like, I cannot afford this, but Rich Dad will say things like, how do I afford this? There's a huge difference over there. Another example, poor dad always says that I cannot be rich, but on the other hand, rich dad, although he has lost all of his money, he has gone broke, he has gone bankrupt, he will still stand up, has a smile and says like, I am the richest person in the world. And that's the behavior of someone who has a strong mentality. And this book has really taught me a lot about mentality, wealth, and the ways to manage money. So, I really recommend everybody to read this book. This book is a must for everyone, and that's all from me. Thank you so much.